Hey, so here I am trying my new microphone here. I think this works better, but should probably put something up, put it on something so that it's up higher. There we go. There we go. So, um, I was thinking, um, I was at a workshop on Friday. It's Sunday, March 5th, 2023. Just finished writing a letter to my son Kyle. I still haven't gotten any mail from him, but I know he said when I spoke with him on the phone a week ago that he mailed me something 2 weeks ago now. But I still haven't gotten it, so I don't know. It's just the story of my life. I believe him. I trust him. As long as he's getting my mail, that's what's most important. But but I was at a workshop thing on Friday for work, and um, one of the things that they were talking about was trauma. And I was reflecting on it a little bit this weekend, and I was kind of thinking, I've had a lot of trauma in my life, and a lot of it's self-imposed, some of it's not. But it's interesting too. The people who were teaching it weren't psychologists or social workers or um, counselors. They were actually administrators, but it was really good. I actually thought it might be better with them teaching it. And one of the things that they talked about was loneliness creating trauma, and I have a lot of that. And then they also talked about how that there's statistics that say that like loneliness actually is bad for your health. And I'm like, well, that just seems kind of weird. But um, the last few years I haven't talked to a lot of people about it, but just a handful here or there. I've developed some health issues, and one of them is a thyroid issue. I have to go see a specialist later this month on that. And then um, diabetes, but I'm sure that's just from being old and lazy. It's not like the diabetes you should feel bad for people about. It's like eat better, don't be a lazy ass. And but I have a heart issue going on. It's been going on for like 2.5 years, and like my triglyceride levels are like super high, and one of the like they're not supposed to be over 149, and like when I first got tested 2.5 years ago, they were like almost 1,000, and my doctor, who's great, put me on some meds, and they came down to like 400, which is still way over 149. And then I don't know, then they went back up to like 800 again, and then he put me on a new med. And I don't take it all the time. um, supposed to take it 14 times a week, twice a day. But I forget because my thyroid medication I have to take on an empty stomach, and you can't take anything, like can't eat or take any medication for an hour after. And then this one you're supposed to take on a full stomach, and so I don't know. So I was just wondering if the loneliness thing ties into some of that, because like not the healthiest eater in the world. I don't deny that, but I'm also not the worst eater in the world. I do have things that I like that aren't really the healthiest, but um, I don't care. I mean, I'll watch them a little, but I'm not gonna not eat food I like. I don't want to live to be 100 and be like, this sucked. Um, but at the same time, I was just wondering if some of the things I was reading after going to that workshop were that like loneliness can affect like heart disease, loneliness can affect like diabetes, things like that. And so it got me just wondering if certainly, and I don't know what loneliness means because like I certainly don't spend a lot of time with people. Like I just came home from my first rehearsal for Chicago, the show that I'm going to be in May, and so I'm around other people when I'm doing a show, but for rehearsals and the show, but I don't hang out with people, and I've no desire to be in a relationship with someone. I mean, there's times where I wish I was, there's times where I think it would be fun, but then I also am like, but it probably would be bad. And like I've said down here before, every time I feel like I'm getting close to someone, it turns out to be nothing. And I shouldn't say every time. Well, every time so far. And at the same time, I feel um, like I just don't like crowds. And and again, I've mentioned on here before. I don't know that I'd ever be able to be in a healthy relationship because how healthy am I? And how healthy is anyone who is interested in me? They must have some issues, or they wouldn't be interested in me. So, so I don't know if I'm lonely. I mean, I am kind of lonely, but it's like at the same time I want to be lonely. So is that unhealthy? I don't know that I don't know that I really need people. You know, um, I mean, I interact with people in my job, and I interact with people when I'm doing a show, but I never go out and hang out with them. I mean, I never go do things after a show's over. There's always like people go out after a couple of the shows and go out and have food and socialize, and I never go because that's just not me. But I can't tell if I don't care. I don't know if I like. I certainly am on my own. I'm a loner, but is being a loner the same as loneliness? And then I just didn't know if maybe any of that connected back to some of the health issues that I've had. Because I don't know that I'm really going to do anything about it. I'm not going to run out and try and make friends with people. I mean, I know lots of people. I know lots and lots and lots and lots of people, but I wouldn't say that I'm really good friends with anybody. I can think of like 3 or 4 people, but I don't see them. Most of them live out of state, and I don't hang out with people. I don't socialize with people outside of like work or doing a show. If we're doing something, then I go and hang out. But I don't hang out just to hang out. So I don't know if that counts as loneliness. And I just kind of reiterate some things I've said in previous videos. Like, I think I prefer to be alone because engaging in relationships, whether it be intimate relationships, romantic relationships, or even just friendships, the vast, 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 vast majority of times, you just end up getting hurt, disappointed. And I don't know that I'm really up for that anymore. So, anyway, just some thoughts for tonight. I'm going to keep this one private, at least for a little while. I'd love to get a letter from Kyle. But, this is just where I'm at. Anyway, I guess that's it.